All right, our first headline is from Connecticut. Baseball just starting up there, and the police in Ridgefield, Connecticut, are investigating a fire in which 25 gallons of gasoline were doused onto a baseball field by someone who thought that was the best way to dry out the field after heavy rain.
So it rained. It rained before a Little League game. Who was it? Was it the manager of one of the teams? It was like the home team manager.
It's unclear.
But somebody was like, "I'll dry."
Police are investigating.
Someone was like, "I'll dry the field so these kids can play ball," and then just lit the infield on fire using how many gallons of gasoline?
50 gallons, and with that amount of firepower there, they lost a little bit of control of it.
They've used helicopters in the past to try to dry off a field. Doesn't really work. Erica, do we have a video of that Little League game where they tried to dry off the field with the gasoline?
I mean,
you think they would have went? Like, at what point did they call it?
They did. They canceled the game. There's no games being played. It could cost up to $50,000. It's another reminder.
These kids just want to play a game.
Right. It's another reminder.
They're in this situation.
We don't have these problems in California. Like, our fires are natural and they're in the hills. We don't have to worry about, rain on a baseball field that you have to dry out for fires. It's another reason. Like, the longer I live here, the more insane it seems that anyone lives in the Northeast.
I'm just glad that this was a baseball. This happened in a baseball game, not a football game, because there's so many more players on the football team. You know what I mean? Like, if you listen to that clip, you hear 18, 20 kids, having a hard time. Play it again. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's like they're in the dugout. They're worried. I think most of them got out with minor injuries. Smoke inhalation will follow them forever. But I think that if they'd been football players, that it would have been, melted helmets and stuff like that. You don't need that. And these kids, I just hope they get a chance to make up the game. And some adults moving forward find a better way to dry the field than burning a bunch of kids to death.
Our last headlines from the great country.
This is my favorite story.
Yeah,
of the week.
I knew it was. It's the Anthony's favorite because it goes last. The great country of Brazil, where a judge this week ordered that a pair of identical twins both pay child support to a woman who is seeking a paternity results because neither one of them will admit to being the father. They are identical twins, and she knows that she slept with one of them. The paternity test for one of the guys turned up positive, but they made his identical brother also take a test, and that also came up positive, and now they both have to pay child support.
And she's saying that she doesn't know which brother she slept with.
How would she know? I mean, they're identical twins.
I'm sure their names are different. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I assume there's more to the story that she slept with both guys. Like, she slept with both twins at certain points. Maybe one of the twins was like, "Hey, I slept with this girl. Now's your chance." Do you know what I mean? I don't know how twins work.
Well, they both denied. The first guy denied he was the father, even though the paternity test came back. And so that's why they made the identical twin brother do it as well. But there is more to the story. The judge in the case, who was livid, said it was evident that the defendants from adolescence took advantage and continue to take advantage of the fact that they're identical twins. It became clear that they have repeatedly used each other's name to attract as many women as possible and to hide instances of betrayal in their relationship. So this is like a long con that they do with lots of women.
If the judge says that about two people, why weren't they killed on the spot? Like, if they're that what's the word, insidious with their twin behavior, you got to put them in separate prisons, or you got to kill them on the spot, or mark one of their faces. You know what I mean? With like a brand, that just says like twin.
Well, it worked. It's kind of. I mean, I wouldn't say it's really working out because it took a while to go through courts and
But they get
now
to
the
split.
kid's now the kid's 9 years old. They are not splitting. That's kind of the twist. Is they're both paying
equal. They're both paying like as much, like the maximum.
right, which is depressingly only $60 each a month.
What?
But apparently that's above what you would expect for minimum wage, which is what they make in Brazil. So she's actually getting double what she would have gotten from either one of them. Like if one of them had just said, "I'm the father," then they could have split it and they would have been paying half. But instead, they're paying double.
But what's to stop one of the twins from coming up and being like, "Here's your $60," and then she goes to the other twin. He's like, "What do you mean? I just gave it to you?" You know what I mean? This could go on forever. You got to brand their faces. You got to brand their faces. And this kid's 9 years old?
Well, now, yeah, the girl is now 9 years old. It took forever to go through courts and all sorts of different things.
Is there any visitation?
I don't think they're too interested. It is, it's kind of like a sad reality of, did you have any friends that were twins? Two of my best friends were twins.
There were two sets of twins, the Nelson brothers and the McBride brothers.
Shout out to the Vitex, two of the best people I've ever known, who weren't identical, but everyone thought they were identical, except for their friends or the people that really knew them that could definitely tell the difference. And that's the type of thing in high school that everyone talks about. It's like, "Oh, Bob, why don't you go do this and that and say you're Jeff to a girl and then Lisa." They like everyone's always pushing twins to go in this direction.
I don't know,
and they did it.
Twins are screwed up. Like I think we should go back to back in the day. If someone had twins and they were identical, they would throw them off a cliff. Very Game of Thrones style. You don't see a lot of twins on Game of Thrones. Of course, the vampire twins from The Matrix Reloaded. Those are two of the worst people ever. Not a twin guy. And the twins in my high school, the twins in my high school, I remember their parents wouldn't let them do things without each other. They're like, "What if something happens to one of you? We want the other one to be there." I think they had to go to college together too.
My friends went to college together, the Vitex.
If you're identical twins, I assume you're a flat out rapist.
Please. I mean, you could look at this from another.
Give me one example.
The Vitex.
They're
clean.
I'll believe it when I see it.
You could look at this because
it's too easy.
In so many cases,
it's too tempting.
In so many cases,
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
What's that documentary? Three Brothers.
Three identical strangers.
And there's so many cases, and I'm thinking of this with my friends who are totally different, totally different in terms of their personality, the lives that they led, the types of people, they date, all that sort of stuff. That happens all the time with twins. But you could look at this story as they're in it to win it. They've stayed like buddies this whole time with this scheme. Like they're very similar. Like they're close.
Yeah, but they're still making minimum wage in Brazil. Which is not at the height of success. I'll tell you this right now. If I had a twin brother, I'd kill him. I wouldn't risk the temptation taking over. I would kill my twin brother.
Wouldn't you? I feel like you would be attracted to him though.
Of course. Of course I would. Are you crazy? He's my brother. I'm not blind. You know what I mean?
It would just drive you crazy to have this other guy.
It's
out
one
there.
of the reasons I would have to kill him. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't. I wouldn't sleep with my twin brother.
It would really be an amazing thing.
I would never sleep with my actual brother.
Yeah.
There's a 7-year age gap. But a twin brother, nothing wrong with that. But I would have to kill him. I would have to kill him.